Today, a tricky question. A 3-year-old who draws on everything, is destructive, takes to walls with a hammer and more. Oh my goodness, what do you do when as soon as you turn your back, the kids get up to mischief? Hello and welcome to today's Happy Families podcast, real parenting solutions every day. On Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast, we are Justin and Kylie Coulson, and every Tuesday we answer your tricky questions. Family, relationships, well-being, discipline, screens. If you want to submit a tricky question, all you have to do is go to happyfamilies.com.au, scroll down to the podcast section, click the record button, start talking. It's that simple. Or you can send us an email, podcasts@happyfamilies.com.au with your voice note. We love hearing your voice. This time, no voices. Kylie, I'm going to share this one. It's a long one and I'm going to read it out from Shannon. Here we go. Hi, I'm desperate for some help, but please don't judge me. I have a 3-year-old boy turning 4 in January. I'm far from the best parenting example, and I wish I could be better, but I'm struggling. I have 2 other children, a girl 5.5 and a boy 7. My 3-year-old has taken to damaging our house, and it has become quite frequent. The other 2 may have drawn on something once. They had to scrub it clean, and they never did it again. The youngest, however, I feel like I've really messed up in his upbringing. So a while back, he took to a wall with a hammer.
Ouch.
Then nothing much. He's drawn a couple of little things on the wall here and there, but nothing too major. Then 2 weeks ago, he scribbled, luckily with a whiteboard marker, on my older kid's toy cupboard and bin. He was made to get it off. Then last week, I found he had gotten a stamp and stamped all over the drawers and cupboard runner of our spare room. This again luckily came off with wipes and he was made to clean it up. He's scribbled and etched into our wooden coffee table with a pen. We then went away for almost a week. When we got home last night, I spoke to him about the drawing on the coffee table and then discovered he had drawn with text on our couch. Again, he was made to clean this off. We can't get the coffee table stuff off or out without sanding it back. He's been spoken to, yelled at, not the great parenting part, sorry, and isolated. Again, I know many would not agree, sorry. Then this morning I sat at the couch to find he has now drawn a big square outline in the coffee table with a different coloured pen. He must have done this last night sometime. This morning while I was mowing lawns, he's gotten his sister's nail polish, I don't know how, and I have glitter nail polish on my couch and the mat. And now after having a shower, he's brought the bucket of fire ashes inside and tipped them all over the hall and everywhere around it. I'm glad that you find it funny. Shannon is just falling apart here and you're laughing. As I said, I'm in no ways a model parent, but I'm seriously struggling. My daughter did go through a damaging phase, but not as bad as this. I just don't know how to get him to stop. Can anyone please provide any help? Please and thank you, Shannon.
Shannon, I'm not laughing at you, I promise. But I'm going to give you the best parenting tool for this that you will ever experience.
And we haven't prepped this. I've got no idea where you're going with this. I've got so many answers and you've just dived straight in.
You need to buy a copy of I'll Do Better Tomorrow, I promise.
Yeah. Our Friday episodes, all about this.
You need this.
Yep.
So a couple of things stand out to me.
Okay, why don't you go first?
Huge.
Okay.
I remember a story that Wally Goddard shared with us about his son, Andy.
So if you've missed the story about Wally Goddard, he's a man who has been my mentor for the last 20 years and is just one of the wisest parenting people on the planet.
He's a professor in family education.
Yeah, the guy's he's just a gem of a human being as well.
He was babysitting his eldest son.
Well, no. He was being dad. He was looking after while mum was out. We do this all the time. Every time you bring up dads looking after the kids, you call it babysitting.
He was at home with the kids while mum was gone.
Thank you.
And he may not have been supervising as well as he could have.
That is a pattern that I picked up with Shannon's email.
And after a little while, realising that things had been very quiet for some time, he walked into the lounge room.
It's always a problem, isn't it?
And Andy had painted on their brand new cream carpet.
Yeah, I think it was red paint as well that he used on the brand new cream carpet.
And it wasn't small. He did like a poster-sized picture of a house and a family and sun shining and trees, the whole bit.
Yeah.
And this story just endeared me to Wally in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
When he looked at Andy and he said, Wow, Andy, that is such a beautiful picture. Maybe next time we could find some paper to do it on so that we can keep it and people won't walk all over it. And when I think about everything that Shannon's sharing, there's a few things that stand out to me. Number one, usually our kids don't do this if we are supervising them in significant ways. Number two, if that is the challenge, then we can actually get ahead of the problem, because this is coming as a result of either boredom or a desire to be active and move and learn. He's a 3-year-old, so we're dealing with cause and effect right now. He's seeing how his world changes and modifies as a result of his actions. That's huge. But last of all, the recognition that all of our children, regardless of the fact that we believe we are parenting them all the same, are different. And the way we parent them is different because of the season of life we're in. The fact that this is number 3 in a picture of a family instead of being the first child, a totally different season of parenting, and then adding an extra child. And now we have a 3rd child. It changes everything. So this isn't about bad parenting, and nor is this about a bad child. This is literally about a 3-year-old exploring his world in wonderful ways. We're just not loving it, right? I remember when Chanel and her cousin, they would have been around the same age.
So Chanel is our eldest daughter.
They had been really quiet. And my sister-in-law, your sister Karina, and I went looking for them. We couldn't find them anywhere. They had found nail polish and they had hidden behind the lounge room curtains and not only painted their toes, which were beautiful, bright red, they had painted the floorboards as well. And they were just having fun. So as a parent, I could look at that and go, they were being so naughty. They were exploring their world. They were looking in to see how it all works. And my last thing. It looks like and sounds like to me that you have an artist in the making. And if we can tap into that, he's going to create some amazing things, but he needs some guidance.
So you've kind of come full circle with the artwork. If we bring it back to the story that Wally told us, and that is that once he said, Andy, that is such a creative drawing that you've like the way he didn't get cranky. He didn't make a big deal about it. He just said, wow, that's such a creative drawing. I'm so excited that you love drawing. And then he and Andy together, they cleaned it up, and Andy wasn't in trouble. Instead, they just cleaned it up. And Wally said, you can draw any time and you can draw with almost any material you want. But we want to make sure our drawings are on paper so we can hang them up on the fridge or on the wall.
So
and
everyone can see them.
We can look at them and enjoy them all the time. And we don't draw on the carpet, we draw on the cardboard or on the paper. And so he provided that additional scaffolding, that additional opportunity for Andy to feel validated for drawing, but be redirected to the right place. After the break, I've got a couple of other ideas that that I think are going to be really useful for you, Shannon, to help with the newfound Banksy that you have in your home. Okay, so a couple of things as I thought about Shannon's email to us. The first, just related to supervision. It seems like this little 3-year-old guy, he's doing this stuff when he's not being supervised. And so it makes me wonder about quality time, how much time. I know it's hard. There's so much going on all the time. Parents are exhausted, but 3-year-olds are demanding. There's no way around it. We are currently dealing with an 18 to 20-month-old granddaughter, and we are remembering just how at that point in your life, it's a different kind of exhausting to having big kids. It's the kind of...
Well, and my gender goes out the window. If she's in my space,
that's right.
There is nothing else.
You've got to be there for them. You've got to be present for them. That's it. The second thing that I want to emphasize is what's going on here is developmentally normal and appropriate. It doesn't mean it's okay, but it's completely normal. So,
and it doesn't mean that he's destructive.
Absolutely not.
This is not a destruction trait.
We're not putting any kind of personality characteristics or attributes here. This is just a creative kid looking for an outlet, not supervised, and he gets attention when he does this as well, right? So we've got to make sure that we've got an environment set up where he can draw, he can have positive attention regularly, and he can also understand what the limits are. I don't love the whole we make him clean it up thing unless we're doing it together and it's not a punishment, but rather there's the redirection. So I wanted to emphasize that. And while there are a whole lot of other things that I could share, I am going to share something from a really lovely, lovely writer by the name of Beck Delahoy. Beck has a Substack that's called Lessons Learned, and she shared this about a year ago. In fact, I've just dragged it up here on the internet, and it was on March the 6th of 2023. So a year ago, 2 years ago, same, 200 bit years ago. But it's an article that she wrote that has stayed with me for more than 2 years, and I just love what she says. So I'm going to share this, and we will link to Beck Delahoy's Substack. This is called Blame and Shame Doesn't Solve Anything. And I want to read this to you. She says, I have 6 occupants living in my house, me, my husband, and our 3 children, and a wicked mouse. The wicked mouse first came along a few years ago when my oldest was a preschooler and learning not to draw on walls. Sound familiar, Shannon? One day, crayon just appeared on the wall, but my son assured me that he didn't do it. It was the wicked mouse. This wicked mouse gets up to all sorts of mischief. Sometimes the wicked mouse leaves rubbish on the table. Sometimes the wicked mouse pulls books off the bookshelf and leaves them on the floor. The wicked mouse has been known to unroll all the toilet paper. Whenever there is an overwhelming amount of chaos or mess, it was probably the wicked mouse who contributed to it. A few months ago, the wicked mouse got up to mischief for the first time in a while. I'd gone upstairs to where Mr. 5 had been quietly playing. At his age, silence isn't always a sign of getting up to no good, thankfully, and discovered that there was orange crayon on every imaginable surface. There were orange squiggles on the tiles, on the shower glass, on the toilet lid, around the edges of the bath, on the chest of drawers, on the toilet brush, even on the plug. Nothing in the bathroom was untouched. It was as though an experiment had been done to see which surfaces a crayon would work on. The answer, it works on all of them. Interestingly, the orange crayon had even been used to leave a message on the tiled bathroom floor. 5 letters spelling out Mr. 5's name. There were only 2 possibilities to what had happened. Either my 5-year-old had gotten creative with a crayon, or the wicked mouse was trying to frame him. Now, I probably don't need to say this, Beck Delahoy says, but the wicked mouse doesn't really exist. And it's not that my son was lying when he first blamed wall drawings on a wicked mouse. Young children, especially preschoolers, don't really lie, at least not in the way we might do as adults. They just tell us what they wish the truth was. So my son, when blaming the wicked mouse, was really saying that he wishes that someone else had drawn on the wall because he already knew that he really shouldn't have done that. I could call him out as a liar. I could shame and blame him. I could punish him for what he'd done so that he'd learn his lesson. But instead of blaming and shaming, I had a different tactic. I called my son upstairs, and this is what was said. Me. You wouldn't believe what the wicked mouse has done. Come look with me. The wicked mouse drew all over the floor. What a cheeky mouse. Mr. 5. Oh no, the wicked mouse drew on everything. Me. What are we going to do? Can you help me clean it up? Mr. 5. Okay. Me. Here's a scrubber. Let's get to work. She wraps it up by saying this. My son then spent the next 30 minutes helping me identify every spot that had been drawn on, and for mysterious reasons, he seemed to have a very good idea about where the wicked mouse had scribbled. He personally scrubbed out at least half of the drawings, diligently working with me until every spot of orange was gone. Would he have been so helpful if I had blamed him? Probably not. He probably would have felt so ashamed that he would have hidden his feelings behind defensiveness and anger. I probably wouldn't have been able to engage his cooperation at all. But he shouldn't have gotten away with it, you might think. The thing is, he didn't get away with anything. The consequence was the same. He still needed to help clean up. By not blaming him first, though, he learnt some really important lessons. We can find solutions without finding someone to blame first. I can be part of the solution even if I'm part of the problem. I don't need to make others feel bad when something has gone wrong. I can focus on problem solving. We can teach our children without blaming them. They can learn to be responsible for their actions without being shamed for them. I think every family of young, destructively curious kids would benefit from having a guest come and stay. It may be a wicked mouse, a cheeky frog, or a silly pigeon. I can't wait to hear what sort of mischief they get up to. So like I said, beautiful article from Beck de la Hoy on lessons learned. And Shannon, I reckon that might help. Really appreciate the tricky question. If you'd like to submit a tricky question, just go to happyfamilies.com.au, scroll down to where it says podcasts, click the record button, start talking, and we would love to answer your questions on the podcast. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media, and you can find more information and resources to help your family thrive, flourish, and be happy at happyfamilies.com.au.